Hey everyone, Kendra Lust here with Julian Marquez and Beauty and the Beast podcast. We are back. We missed you guys. We have been busy. I know he's been really busy, and we won't talk too much about that, but he's been getting busy, training and all that good stuff. So we'll keep it at that. Oh gosh, I locked Professor X out because he's like, you locked me out. Because I have my nephew here too, and they're just like going crazy. And I'm like,
oh, you locked them out of the house,
from the basement. The basement. I'm like, we're good. So he's like, you locked me out. Yeah, I got the keys right here, baby. And it wasn't on purpose, but it kind of was. But then they'd be looking for me. So, yeah. I got that key, right? Anyway, so what's going on with you? What have you been up to?
Well, we just signed the contract to fight for what's his name? Yeah, April 10th. Yeah, we signed the contract to fight Sam Alvey. My teammate Zach Cummings was injured in practice. Hopefully a speedy recovery for him, but they needed a fill-in. I just fought. I'm a game fighter. I've been out for 31 months. Sam Alvey's a great opponent, a veteran of the sport. So, my coach likes the matchup, and I like the matchup. My management likes the matchup. We took the bid, and we got it. And so now we're back in it, and I'm super excited. I'm super pumped. Just the more and more I could be in. This is what I've always wanted. You know what I mean? At 31 months, I was out, and I finally get to get back in again and again.
So, what? Tell me about Sam a little bit. I should probably, when you told me, part of me wanted to look it up, but then, it's a shit show around here. People.
Sam Alvey has been in the UFC for a long time. He was he fought Tom Watson to get inside the UFC, which is an OG. Like, this is many years ago. He was part of the Ultimate Fighter. Super, awkward style of striking. But, like, he's a character. He's a personality. He's very different. They call him Smiling Sam Alvey because he has a big, giant smile. One of my favorite quotes he ever had post-fight interview, he fought in Florida, and his opening statement for the interview, he's like, "Hey, Florida, I love your oranges." Like, that was it. That was his super random. But he's a funny guy. He's awesome. And actually, him and I have TikToks where we, like, TikTok each other back and forth previously, like. And he's a good dude. He trains a lot of the fighters that I know on the West Coast, a lot of friends. And, the thing is, in this business, it's about business, about fighting. It's about getting in there. And Sam's a great vet and a good vet to be standing across the octagon from. And I'm super pumped because it definitely is going to help push my career up higher. And again, like I said, 31 months out, wanting to have fights and fights. This is my fourth fight in less than a year that's been scheduled on paper. Yeah. And I'm excited, man. I'm super excited that I get to perform in there on UFC Fight Night. Vittori and Darren Till. Let's go.
That's awesome. So what happened with your teammate? You said Zach was hurt, or did you talk about it, or do people know about it? Well,
I don't know if he's going to release all of his information to the public, so I don't really want to give out any of that. But he's, he has an injury. That's it.
We'll leave it at that. Okay, I know we had this whole plan, but when you made me, you said that, it made me think of, I know there's a fight coming up, and I don't know if it's been announced. Aspen Ladd is going to be fighting. Have you heard anything about that? Because I was talking with her.
I have not. I've not heard anything about Aspen Ladd, to be honest. I saw some photos going there, and I can pull up real quick if I see a fight that's announced from her. But in all honesty, I haven't a clue. Let me see real quick. UFC news alerts are always on task and always up and ready.
I feel like it was announced, but I was talking with one of her PR people, and they said not yet. But I'm pretty sure it has. Aside from that, I guess I can't say too much, but
yep, she has no fight news coming out.
Okay,
so it hasn't been announced.
Okay, yeah, it really truly hasn't. Okay, but all right, so we'll leave it alone. Okay, so yeah, we'll leave it alone. But anyway, she's got something coming up. I'm excited, very happy to watch her. So that's awesome. Did you catch the fights last weekend?
Oh my gosh, I absolutely did. Dude, what an amazing card. Like, That is how a pay-per-view should be. There was 15 fights, all excitement from start to finish, some crazy twists, some highlight reels, and just pure entertainment. That's what I love. It was to pick a 50K bonus winner on that would have been difficult.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was a little, I mean, I guess I wasn't surprised with Amanda Nunez. I'm sorry, that was for me. But I guess I was disappointed in the opponent. I just thought that she would last a little bit longer, and that just shows you how incredibly talented Nunez is, and to hold two belts in two different divisions takes a special person. So
Absolutely.
it was insane. But anyway, I just thought it would go a little bit longer. But the main event,
let's be honest. Like, look, we can say that, not even arguably, it's just the fact that Amanda Nunez is a GOAT, and she does that to a lot of people. No one's really looked good against her except for Valentina. And it was very awkward. If you watch that overhook that she caught Megan with, it was just right in the back of the head. It was just like, you could tell it threw Megan off. And she doesn't hit lightly, and Megan's a tough girl. Megan's super tough, super durable, and that just, it goes to show you, like, you're fighting the greatest female fighter of all time that's taken out who we thought was the greatest female fighter of all time.
Yes.
And it's just,
well, do you think
she's just great?
She's amazing. Sorry to put you up, but do you think, because I keep hearing people say that she's running from Jessica, I can't say her last name. Now I'm drawing a blank.
Penne? Are you talking Penne?
Yeah. Why
Juliana Penne?
Why? Yes, not Jessica. Why does she keep? I feel like she won't take the fight against her. Is it because she's such a good wrestler, or what are your thoughts on that? I've never known her not to. I don't know. So people are saying she's running. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. I just didn't know if you.
What makes you think that she's running for? Look, everybody's trying to comment and say that they're next in line. She's not running from anyone at all. The thing is, you have to understand is that she's going for greatness, and she's going for 2 belts, and she has to control 2 belts. Okay. Well, she just fought 45. She had a child. She's fighting 45 again. She just had a child. She fights 45 again. Juliana Pena lost to Germaine de Randamie in 2020 on October 3rd. So how is she running from her when she got beat by the girl that lost to Amanda Nunez last? Yeah. So she lost to her, and then that girl ended up going to fight Amanda Nunez. She just now got back and beat Sarah McMahon. And so it's like she's not running from her.
Yeah, maybe it's just that people are saying that, or maybe, who knows, some of her people are putting it out there so that eventually the two will fight. I don't know, but I forgot who was telling me. It might have even been Professor X. He was saying that it seems as if she's not, like, she's challenged her and she never accepts the fight. I don't know.
Well, you got to understand, this is the thing. Look, let's go look at her deal. In December 14th, 2019, Amanda Nunez defeated Germaine de Randamie. All right. On October 3rd, on July 13th, 2019, Juliana Pena got a win on Nico Montoya. She beat her at 135. Previous to that fight, she lost to Shevchenko in 2017 to armbar. That was her first fight back into the UFC since she had her child. And then the next fight after Germaine de Randamie was, as you see, it was Felicia Spencer in 2020, June 6th. Now, she was going up in weight. In 2021, or in October 3rd, she fought Germaine de Randamie, Juliana Pena fought her. lost to Jermaine Durandamy by a technical submission in the third round. So she lost all her stuff. Then in 2021, recently, she just beat Sarah McMahon.
Yeah.
And this fight with Megan Anderson has already been scheduled. She's not running from her.
Yeah.
In all honesty, Juliana Pena hasn't earned the right to go fight her yet. She's literally won one, lost one, won one.
Yeah.
She should be that. It's just everybody wants to sit there and try to put her up in this and look.
Yeah, I think
lady
yeah,
can do
greatest
whatever
of
she
all time.
wants.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
I'm a fan for sure.
I'd rather see Shevchenko fight Nunez than I'd rather see Juliana Pena. In all honesty, Juliana Pena she's not.
You don't think
She's good. She's good, but she hasn't earned the right
to do so
by beating top. I mean, let's look at the rankings right now. She hasn't earned her right to say that she should challenge for the belt. She beat Sarah McMahon. Was Sarah McMahon, was she in line for the belt? Was she up next? Was she the number one contender? Was she with the top contender? Is that yes or no? I don't know. We're going to look at the power rankings.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to tell you. But Amanda Nunez, she's pound for pound, obviously. But Amanda Nunez at 35. Holly Holm, Aspen Ladd, Irene Aldana, Yana Kunitskaya, and then Juliana Pena. Juliana Pena beat a number 8 ranked Sarah McMahon, or it could have been switched out there. But she still has Aspen Ladd in front of her. She still has Irene Aldana, and she has Holly Holm. And then Jermaine Durandamy is the second fight or the next fight. So if I'm looking at this, I would say Aspen Ladd's going to fight Holly Holm. Juliana Pena is going to have to either fight Yana Kunitskaya or Aldana. Well, Jana just won and Juliana Pena just won, so those two can go out. And then Jermaine Durandamy is still in a process, so Yana Kunitskaya can fight Jermaine. It's a very like crazy deal, but I mean, shit, I can even see Aspen Ladd fighting Jermaine. Aspen Ladd's next in line for Yana Kunitskaya, or not. Aspen Ladd's in line for Holly Holm or Jermaine Durandamy. Those are the contender fights. If she wins one of those, she's get the title. Juliana Pena can't even. She's not even matched up with Aspen Ladd, and Aspen Ladd has more victories in a row than Juliana Pena. So if you guys want to argue me online, please comment below and let's start this up. But yeah, Aspen Ladd has more of a promising.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why. Just someone had said that, or people were saying that. I'm like, okay, and I, of course, have not even had a chance.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, you know what I hate is it's not even what I hate. It's just how people act. Like, let's go to the main event. Let's talk about Aljamain Sterling, and let's talk about Peter Yan. It's super crazy how the stuff we're going, and it's super crazy to end on an illegal knee. But the problem is, everyone's like, "Oh, you're a faker, dude." First and foremost, you're gonna say a guy who just went through 20 minutes, just about 20 minutes of a hard, tough fight.
Yep.
Got dropped early in the round with a kick or a punch. Got dropped, wobbled, things like that. You're going to tell me that this guy's faking because he got illegally kneed super hard. It wasn't light. It was freaking hard. It was illegal. Peter Yan should have known that it wasn't correct, but he got kneed. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which way or who's in the wrong. Peter Yan's in the wrong, and he deserves to lose his belt.
I agree, but would you want to really take the belt like that? I mean, I wouldn't even want it like that. I wouldn't. That's a bitch ass way to win, as far as I'm concerned. That's a bitch move. And
it's not a bitch move. Because you know what? Guess what? Guess what's next? Look at this. Guess what's next?
It's going to be a rematch, ultimately.
There's going to be a rematch, but guess who's going to make championship money? Guess who is going to be, when we look down in the lineup in 5 years from now, and we look at champions, you're going to see Aljamain Sterling's name on there, and no one's going to look at the comment box. No one's going to see like, oh, he did that. And at the same time, you're a fucking champion. You're a champion. You were supposed to be held at the highest degree of accountability, and you throw an illegal knee. The thing is that, yes, he could have continued, but what if he went in and continued and then got hit, knocked out cold, and then he doesn't ever recover?
Yeah.
You have to understand, like that knee was a very dangerous knee. That was
Definitely.
tough. And it can make you, that could be, I don't want to say a career ending knee, but if you get knocked out from that kind of knee or you get it come back from a knockout, then your chin's not going to be the same the next time you go. And it's like, look,
Yeah, I should have
that's
said because that could, I get it. That would kind of like piss me off if I were in your shoes, which I get it. I just feel like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know because I'm not there, but I just wouldn't want to win like that, I guess is what I'm saying. That wouldn't be the way I would want to win it. Like, that's not glorious, but I guess.
Absolutely. Look, and the thing is that if I was in Aljamain Sterling's corner, I would have told them this exactly 100%. Don't talk. Shut the fuck up. That's his problem. He's talking. He's trying to get in front of the camera to excuse of why he did this and what he was doing. He doesn't need to say shit. It was an illegal knee. Again, John Jones hit Anthony Smith was an illegal knee, but that wasn't as tough as this. And Anthony didn't want to go out like that. Anthony ended up losing, getting an ultimate whatever. But the thing is Aljamain Sterling got hit with a super hard knee.
Yeah.
Super hard knee.
With that, I guess, amount of impact or that amount of strength and the way he was laying, wouldn't there be some sort of concussion or something?
I don't know. You're the nurse.
I would think that there would be. And from what I was read, there was no medical, there wasn't even a concussion. That just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying
but
it wasn't hard.
But like,
I don't know.
The real question is this. The real question is this. Oh, I know people that got knocked out that didn't get concussed. They weren't concussed and they've been tested by stuff.
Concussed. That's good.
But the thing is like, you have to understand this. Is any of these people that are commenting a CAT scan, MRI, or let alone, let's see if they have their doctorate degree that sat there in their medical experience. Did they scan him while he was on the floor? Did they scan him after he was on the floor? Did they reach his medical contract when he went to the hospital? Did they talk to anybody at all that has the ability to give him information to say he hasn't gone to get it, check and see if he has a concussion?
No, but Dana White made a comment during the post-fight, when he had his press conference or post-fight interview type thing. He had said, because they had asked him, one of the reporters, and he said, yep, nope, nothing. Like, he dismissed it. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know fighters that leave and they dismiss certain parts of their body, like, oh, adrenaline and everything. They dismiss, they want to go away. Yeah. And next thing you know, they have stuff wrong with them. It shouldn't be left up to the fighter. It should be, hey, like, we saw you do this, like, let's make sure. But it is what it is. Like, he may dismiss it, doesn't mean he's right in the head to dismiss it. I don't think he was right in the head to talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So maybe it did affect him, but ultimately, I just don't know. Someone also had said, reading things that, somebody was speaking in Russian from his corner and told him to do it. And I guess in the heat of sometimes I feel like even though he probably knew it was illegal, in the heat of who knows? We all do things that we know aren't necessarily the right thing to do, and momentum, adrenaline, all of those things. So it sucks that it happened that way. I mean, I'm glad, Sterling's okay. I just feel like I just feel that they should rematch and then, fight again, and then we see what happens. But
absolutely. It's going to be a huge fight. It's going to blow up just because of that rematch. It caused more tension, more animosity. But at the end of the day, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for not continuing. That could alter the fight. Do we know what could have happened in the fifth round? We don't know. And to be honest, he's going to be making championship money next fight. And he's going to make more. No one's going to look at the comment box 5 years from now. So whether or not people like it or not, I mean, he did what he needed to do. I mean, I don't want to say he did what he needed to do because it wasn't like I'm not saying he's a faker. He didn't plan it. It's just Peter Yan. That's 100% his fault. Don't blame it on someone else. He did something absolutely illegal. They disqualified John Jones when he threw an illegal knee or illegal elbow on Matt Hamill, and they were about to disqualify Anthony Smith on an illegal knee. But Anthony Smith was like, I'm going to keep going like this.
He's a little different. Okay, yeah. Okay, enough about that. So, main event. I was disappointed. I was
Oh,
sad.
really?
Yeah.
Ah,
I mean, I like Izzy. I was a little bummed. But again, it is a lot harder to go up in weight class, you know?
I legitimately just forgot. I was like, the main event, was that not the main event? That's how fucking amazing this card was. I forgot that the featured fight was Nunez and Anderson, the co-main event, Sterling Pirion, and then the main event, Jan Blachowicz versus
Yeah.
Israel Adesanya. Wow. Oh my
Hats off to
God.
Juan, though. Jan.
Yeah.
Um, what the? I can't say his name. Blackowitz. I'm thinking of Peter Young. But I mean, for Izzy to have to go, up and it's a lot harder. It is because the like you explained to me before. I think you talked to me about it before. When they're cutting weight, they get down to the fight weight, and then they put on, X amount of pounds overnight or whatever. So they have this advantage strength wise, and it was it would have been nice because I think that Izzy is a very talented fighter. He's he was undefeated, and at least he attempted. He's still one of the greatest in the UFC, and as far as I'm concerned, but it didn't work out. So
I think that and we all could be Monday morning quarterbacks or Thursday afternoon quarterbacks for a fight that happened on Saturday. But one thing that it didn't resonate well with me is that he said that he wasn't going to change his weight. He wasn't going to change anything. He wanted to feel the same, wanted to keep his body the same, everything, this, that, and the other. And I think that harms him. He could have put on a little bit of muscle mass. He could have. I thought he was gonna end up knocking him out because he caught him with a heavy blow. And it wobbled right after he cracked Israel. Israel came back with a check hook, and it wobbled, and you could see Blachowicz kind of like staggered leg and kind of wobbling backwards. And I was like, oh, he has the power, he has the quickness, he has the speed, he has the agility. If he was just a little bit heavier, it would have been great. He weighed in at 200, and he probably walked in the fight at maybe 201, whereas Blachowicz walked in probably 230,
yeah,
which 30 pounds of straight muscle is going to be huge. He
absolutely.
could have he could have been 10 pounds heavier. It would have been okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, but at least, hats off for him, for trying because I don't know many guys that would attempt that. People are kind of get comfortable in their weight class, and he took a chance, and kudos to him. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was, yeah, of course, Saturdays here. Everyone knows we just don't leave the house. We're here. They can come here and watch the fight, but we're not really going out anywhere. So it was good. Gosh, I didn't really want to talk about fights too much this week, but
Well, I said, hey, let's talk about our boy this weekend. Eric Anders is fighting my friend as well, Darren Stewart.
Jeez.
Are you not excited? I'm actually torn apart on this.
You've talked about Darren Stewart. I mean, I don't know. I know you have before on some of our previous podcasts and just nice things to say about him. However, how are you feeling? Like two friends fighting? Is it hard for you to? It's probably hard for you to watch. I know it would be hard for me.
Absolutely. Look, I love them both.
Yeah.
They're both like great people, and you got to understand. It's like I've lived inside of Eric's house with his family. His wife cooked me food. I played video games with his kids. We trained together. And not only that, he stayed at my place. I love him, dude. That's like a brother to me. And then Darren Stewart's always going to be in my heart because of our first fight in the UFC together. I talked to his kids. I FaceTimed him before, speaking to his kids, and we talk regularly. It's just this camp we kind of pulled back on it just because of mutual agreement. Like I know them both. I don't want to have any type of way say or anything. I don't want to be that guy. This is business. You guys handle it your way. Afterwards, we can be friends. And what's crazy is that if you look at it, Eric and Darren used to comment on each other's stuff and used to like each other's photos and basically growing each other and helping each other out. Because I put them in contact with each other. But this is a fight game. This is how it goes. Someone has to walk out. It's all business. I'm gonna feel for either one of them.
Yep.
But it's actually stylistically such a close matchup that I think we're going to have a 50K brawl. I think we're going to have a 50K fight.
That would be awesome.
Neither one of them's going to go down. Neither one of them's going to get tired. They're both fast. They both have great stand up. If they go to the ground, they can scramble. It is such an amazing matchup. This is a type of matchup that you see for a top 15 contender. So the person who win this is going to the top 15. Person that wins this next fight is in the top 15, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm excited. Again, we'll be here. So we have like plans with friends or whatever for dinner, and then like a big group of us, and then I'm like, okay, I don't think like here's what we're doing. We're going back to the house, not to be a buzzkill, but there's no way we're missing. We're not going to miss it. There's just no way.
Absolutely not.
So I keep reading about I heard about it. Dana White was talking about it, about, how athletes should feel grateful that they have sponsors, and which is a great thing because not all athletes get sponsored. However, Monster is a great company, I'm hearing, but then they have this one individual, Hans, I don't know his last name, who is, I guess, from what I'm hearing, I think it was Dominic Cruz, and I don't know, people saying that he makes them feel like that they have to comment on his page, and it becomes more personal. So people feel compelled, to comment, or they'll hold a sponsorship, or it'll affect their contract. I don't know much about it. Maybe you've heard some things, but people are pissed off at this guy.
It's weird. It's Hans Molenkamp is his name. And I've reached out to him in 2016, 2017. He did stuff with Triumph, and I needed boxing gear. And he was like, fighters need to talk to me about sponsorships. He made a post, and I was like, hey man, like, can you talk to me on how you would work with sponsorship? I was getting advice at the time, and he just kind of like, fuck you. Type of like gave me the vibe of like, fuck you. Like he answered, hey, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Say, hey man, I'm trying to find this out on sponsorship because I didn't know anything in 2016. Yeah. And like he just kind of like big man me. And then I got in the UFC and everything. And then I just asked again for the Triumph United. And I asked him again about it. And he just kind of like left me on red.
Huh. Okay.
And then I was just like, you know what? Like, okay, cool. Like whatever.
Yeah.
And then he sponsored a lot of my friends. He ended up sponsoring a lot of my friends, and and I would see them like do photos with him and post about it with him, and I was like, I thought nothing of it. And then recently, the Dominic Cruz interview kind of was like, hey man, I don't like having my contract held about doing. You have to comment and post on him to help blow his social media up, and do things about his social media and make him make these videos with his social media to, it makes him look good. It makes him look cool. And I guess Dom didn't like that. But if you look at it as well, is that Israel Adesanya, we saw a post today, I think we shared with it. He would always throw the monster drinks out. And I it's crazy. I thought about doing that. I think I'm gonna start doing it as well because they don't sponsor me, and I would love for them to sponsor me, but I do need an energy drink. So shout out Hans. If I don't care, I'll be your friend. Anyways, but yeah, he had some sort of deal.
If he's an asshole, though, would you really?
I don't know him personally. I don't know him personally. I don't. And again, I asked him some questions and stuff like that. Look, at the end of the day, it's not him sponsoring. He's in charge of it. And if they're going to pay you, they're going to pay you. Like you have to do what they want to do. And I know my friends get paid a good amount of money. So for me to comment on him, like, hey, the guy's going to probably get more sponsorship, get more interaction. I guess that's what it is. Social media, you want to look cool in front of everybody. Cool. Let him do his thing. He's in charge of it. That's how it works. The Monster, if Monster had an issue with it, they would fire him. But they're not going to fire him because he does a good job of what he does. So he can have the stipulations in the contract and keep it there. Maybe it could be more to blow up sponsorship, whatever. Maybe this was a whole entire publicity stunt. We don't know anything. And I'm not going to hate on Hans for, benefiting himself. You got to understand, like in contracts, say they cut him and fire him. Say they fire him. Okay. What do you have to show with that fire? Everybody else was getting paid. You saw how much everybody's getting paid, all this stuff. Right. And then you're going to fire him, and then he's going to be stuck with nothing, having to find a new job. Well, at least he has, 300,000+ followers and a lot of people that know him that it can help him start whatever it is. Yeah. But
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know the specifics. However, I think it's a matter of you don't sponsor me, so why should I have to? Like, I don't owe you anything. You're not paying me, so I'm not going to. Why would you? Right? Now, if I'm in a
Yeah.
contract with you, right, then that's different. Then there are guidelines and things, I mean, if that's not in your, in your agreement, then you don't necessarily have to, but it probably is helpful. And really, what's the damn big deal? Like, you commented a guy's thing, but I think it's the maybe the idea that he's making them feel like they have to, and that would piss me off too. I don't like to do anything I don't want to do, I guess, unless you're paying me. It's a different story. So
Yeah, it's I rock with it. I think it is kind of messed up stipulation if it is true. Again, I don't know if this is a publicity stunt. It just seems too weird when you listen to him talk about it. It's like, I don't want to comment on your stuff. I don't want to do. Let's have a boxing match. What if that was him? Yeah, for charity. You keep up. What if that is him to build up Monster and have all these stuff? Because look at where it's all going. We're talking about on our podcast. Every other podcast is talking about it. You see them all over the place. How do we know it's a publicity stuff? I don't want to talk trash on a guy unless we know facts. But Israel Adesanya did make that tweet that you can't buy friendships. So it might be something there, or it just might be that Israel just doesn't like that guy. It doesn't like dealing with that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people don't play politics. A lot of people don't. I can relate.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting. Okay. So you had mentioned to me something about OnlyFans, which it seems to be doing better and better and getting bigger and bigger.
How crazy is it? First off, how crazy you and I start a podcast. The first UFC fighter to come out with an adult film star, and we're something completely different that everyone like, whoa, what the hell is going on? A UFC fighter with adult film star. This is a really it's an unorthodox matchup. Like most people don't see that going on. And then all of a sudden, people start coming out. UFC fighters are coming out with OnlyFans accounts.
Yes.
UFC, their exclusive content. Like Paige Vanzant has her own little store and stuff like that. But like they're being more open now, and it's like, wait a minute, we've been on this train for a lot longer. We should get credit for opening up the door to all the other stuff.
But it's not only though an adult platform. That's what people don't understand. So maybe people like, Paige, obviously she's not doing what I'm doing on there, and that's okay. I think it's whatever it is. I feel, and I think a lot of people are already feeling, well, I'm already doing this on Instagram for free. I might as well get paid for it, where at least my devoted followers and fans can kind of see me do things that, not everybody else gets to see me do, whether it be cook in a bikini or, lay out in my bikini, or I'm just speaking just generally, so for those people in the UFC that don't have sponsors, that don't get paid unless they're fighting, unless they're winning, fight of the night, knockout of the night, then, how are they really I think it's a beautiful thing. And I have nothing but respect and admiration for all the hard work that you guys do. But I just feel the amount of entertainment that you guys give us, you should be paid more. And it makes me sad because you do put your blood, sweat, tears, pain, injury, like everything that you've gone through. And we enjoy it. You guys, for me, it brings excitement, and it's a whole nother element on a different level. So I can't imagine what it's for a lot of people that aspire to be what you guys are. So you should not have to do the OnlyFans. I feel like you guys should be paid more. Period.
Look, we can always say we want to get paid more, and if you pay people more, then there's going to be more, rules and regulations in it. Yeah. When you get paid more, thing is, you have to be worth your contract. You have to be worth your money. You know what I mean? If you do extremely well, then you get paid more. But why should you get paid? Again, we are getting bashed. We are fighting. We are doing all this stuff. And we put a lot of training in there. But if you think about it, if you fight 4 times a year at a base contract at 10-10, say it goes 10-10, 12-12, 14-14, 16-16. So that's 32. That's 28. 32 plus 28 is What is it? 50, 60. There's
Okay.
60,000 right there. 10 and 10. That's another 20. That's, whatever. We're going. I don't know why I'm going with all this. But anyways, you're sitting there over $80,000, $90,000 worth of money and 4 fights on a contract.
Okay.
$90,000. Say you fight that in 1 year. You win them all and you don't renegotiate your contract. That's 4 fights on your contract that you made money on. Now, what other job do you know that makes that much money with the amount of the schedule that you ask for?
Okay, that's just actually showing up to fight, but you're working every day. You're working 5 days a week. Like,
You're right. You're right.
okay.
If
So,
not more. But how much are you really working though? 3 hours, 6 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 5 hours a day?
but that's a lot on your body. And I think of the same NFL players. Okay, same thing.
NFL players are owned by ESPN though. It's different.
And you're owned by UFC.
We're owned by UFC. UFC is their own entity. ESPN pays for UFC to air their stuff. UFC pays everybody in-house. Everybody gets paid. The reason why the
But
UFC
you
was
guys
able to
get
perform,
paid the least. Just that's
the
why
reason,
Paige went over to bare knuckle, because they paid her.
yeah, they paid her, but also Paige wasn't worth her contract.
What do you mean she wasn't worth her contract?
She wasn't worth her. Why would you pay? Look at Israel or not? Basically look at Israel Adesanya. He's making a good amount of money. He's a champion. He's animated. He speaks very well. He speaks clearly. He's true, and he does stuff and speaks to a different demographic of fans that like anime. They like superheroes and stuff like that. He is bringing in that childhood favorite that everyone likes. Sage Northcutt was getting paid $70,000 and $70,000 to start out, but he kept losing, and it was just more money to pay him on it. Wasn't really giving what they want. So Sage was just a look. Paige Vanzant she was winning, but she wasn't. She won a couple, and then she would lose a whole bunch.
Doesn't matter. People are still tuning in to see her because she's beautiful and she's smart and she's a draw. And her pay-per-views, I want to compare. I mean, I do. I want to compare. I'd love to know, because I'm telling you.
Paige never had pay-per-view though.
You mean to tell me that she never had, like, people weren't paying to see her fight, right? Like, that UFC wasn't making money from her off of her.
I don't know if pay-per-view was I don't know if she did. She was on any pay-per-view cards. I can't confirm or deny that. But I would say this: Do you think Paige would have had all the opportunities she had if it wasn't the UFC opening up the doors for her?
Okay, you're talking like Dancing with the Stars.
Do you think that the UFC, because UFC, when you sign a contract, you sign up a lot of your rights, so you have to ask permission to go on Dancing with the Stars. Do you think she would have had that opportunity if it wasn't for the UFC?
Probably not. Good point.
Okay. Do you think that she would be as popular as she is if it wasn't for the UFC?
Probably not, but I think.
Okay. Well, no, hold up.
Okay.
Do you think that if Paige actually put more and more time into fighting and more effort into fighting, and she kept winning, do you think she would be even bigger than she is now?
Yeah, potentially. But I just don't, probably. However, I'm being pouty because you're making a couple good points that I didn't think about, which is pissing me off, but that's fine. Not in a bad way, but in a friendly way. But I just feel like, in general, I guess overall is what I'm thinking is they make so much money. And I just feel like I don't know, the top 15, they should be making a lot more than what they're making.
Look, you know what? Everybody wants more money. There's a lot of things that you have to do to get more money. There's a lot of things that you have to make. There's people that make money. It's part of how it is. You can't change it. I cannot change that. I cannot argue it. And you know what? I have my contract. I can post on here. My first contract I ever fought for was 500 and 500. That was my first pro fight. And the reason why I got that is I would sell $8,000 worth of tickets, or $6,000 to $8,000 worth of tickets for them, and getting 25% of that. So paying $500 I paid for my own way with the ticket sales, so they didn't have to worry about it. And even then, they showed me the contract and they forgot to pay me my win bonus. So I only made $500 for my first fight when I should have made $1,000 for my first fight. So I was underpaid. And then my third fight, or fourth fight, that wasn't in the UFC, I made 1,000 and 1,000. My fourth fight that wasn't in the UFC, and which was an insane fight, 1,000, 1,000. I have friends right now on their seventh, eighth fight that are making less than 1,000 and 1,000 because they're promotions that can't afford it because there's not enough fans to buy tickets to blow it up. The UFC is paying you in Contender Series 5,000 and 5,000 to start. You get into the entry level if you make it there. You
Okay.
get 10,000 and 10,000. You move up every time you win. You go up 2,000, or you renegotiate your contract on the want and the privilege you are. You have to understand that they do everything in house. Their cameraman, their production, their the movement, the talks, everything. They do it all in house. They don't depend on anybody. The NFL is owned by ESPN, which is backed by Disney, which is owned by Disney. ESPN controls everything about that. ESPN controls the marketing. ESPN controls the promo videos. ESPN controls the camera. ESPN controls everything. ESPN has more money behind them to be able to build out these giant stadiums on the NFL and help blow it up. The NFL's been around for so many years.
Yeah.
So many years. So they built themselves up to get what they want. The UFC has not been around. The UFC has not been popular the way it's been popular in the past. It just started getting popular in the past 10 years. And then it's on top of all the stuff that they're trying to do to build it up. But the issue is that fighters are such assholes. They're so greedy. They're hogs. Pigs get pigs get slaughtered. I should just say this. They're pigs. Pigs get slaughtered. Hogs get fed. All right. They keep asking for more money, more money, more money, more money. Now, some of the veterans should get a lot more money. I think they should. If they've been around for a long time, they're a household name. They help build your brand. Every time they fight, they go. I think they should get more money or some more incentives, things like that.
Okay.
I think they should. But you have to understand, everybody bitches about the Reebok deal, but the Reebok deal helped build us into get on Fox. The Reebok deal helped build us to get on ESPN. The Reebok deal helped get us on public eye to where we become something greater than we are. Because if we didn't have the Reebok deal and we wore whatever we want, we weren't unified, we wouldn't be team associated like NFL, like NBA. They don't just walk out with whatever. It became an organization, a bigger organization than what it was. And the Reebok deal, everybody was pissed off about the Reebok pay. First and foremost, the UFC is going to get paid before anybody else. And it's because the UFC has to pay everybody else. The UFC has to pay the production company. The UFC has to pay the nutrition. The UFC has to pay for the PI. The UFC has to pay for everything. They're trying to provide for everybody and grow the sport at the same time. And then they're trying to make sure everything on there is controlled to the point where it's going to be okay to get on bigger television, get on bigger opportunities. We just signed a deal with ABC. Think of that. We're on public television once again, ABC, and all the fighters do is bitch about the pay that Reebok gives us to where the athlete deal. You are paid based on how many fights you are by Reebok. You're bitching that Reebok and this and that and the other. You're hating on Reebok. Where Reebok doesn't pay you. Reebok pays the UFC. The UFC cuts the check for you. Yeah. They decided how much it was. The UFC, and that's decided upon all the fighters that go through there throughout the year, and that's decided upon all the stuff and product that's brought to you. Now, some people get a percentage of royalties on the clothing that they have that they sell, and they make money on it. And that's the thing is the UFC has helped guiding that. It's a business. You have to understand that.
And Bellator's a business, and Bellator treats their fighters and pays their fighters a lot fucking better.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And it just
and I got a question. When's the next Bellator card?
Whatever.
Okay. Who's Bellator heavyweight?
Okay, point. I don't care.
Who's the That's what I'm saying is that you have to understand. Yes, Bellator has a lot of
money or fame, right?
But the thing is that if you want money, go to Bellator. If you want fame in personal growth outside of fighting, you go to UFC and utilize that platform to grow you. If Paige Vanzant was in Bellator, she would have been done. She never would have made it to where she was.
I don't know that.
Look at Paige's first fight in the UFC. They helped build her up.
He's been on Kelly, Regis, and Kelly and whatever with Kelly Ripa. He's done a lot of things. I'm sorry.
Juan Archuleta also has the tag team partner of TJ Dillashaw that helps build him up as well and they have the same close manager, I'm pretty sure. but they build each other up, and that's one. But if you look at all these other fighters in Bellator, they're getting paid a good amount of money. They're getting paid, but it's harder to build them up in that type of platform. Look, you have to understand.
I guess UFC is a household name. I get it.
It's a household name.
Yeah.
People ask you, do you do UFC?
I don't know that they have more money. I don't know, but I'd like to.
Viacom backs Bellator. And Bellator is a great organization to fight for. Bellator is an amazing organization if that's what you want. And they pay their fighters. They pay their fighters a shitload of money. But at the same time, I'm not even going to say it, but I know a buddy of mine that manages some fighters, and they asked a fighter to fight a said person, and they paid this person $50,000 to fight, $50,000 to win. Amazing. But the person standing across from him was 100% loss. It was a way to build this person up. There was no way, shape, and form at the end of the day that guy was winning. There was no way. And the reason why I know this is because he took the fight and got knocked out cold in the first round of the fight. Completely cold. And it just was a different style, different level of everything in there. Yes, he got paid, but also his career he's now behind because he got knocked out. He's closer towards the end of his career. He's now an even fighter, and they're going to pay you to help build their people that they want to pump money into. And I could say the person's name, but I'm not going to throw it out on there. But that's the thing is like, and the UFC builds everybody else.
100%. They do the same thing. Absolutely.
They do the same thing, and they market the hell out of you in the process.
And then when they're done with you, they don't even give you the courtesy. I'm just starting to see things, and it's pissing me off. They don't give you the courtesy to say, hey, this is going to be your last fight. We'll let you go out on your terms. We're just going to cut you. That's a slap in the face.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. I know Jake Ellenberger for a fact asked for one more fight, and Dana gave him another fight, and he ended up losing. Junior Albini, but he was losing. He was on a losing streak.
Doesn't matter. Give the guy, he's a legend. He's been around forever. Give them the courtesy to go out on their own terms, period.
You're talking about Junior Albina?
No, they're DeSantos.
Junior Dos Santos? What are you going to – the thing is first and foremost, Dos Santos got knocked out by Curtis Blades. He's an OG, but he's in a division that you put him up against anybody else, it could be potentially dangerous for his lifestyle. He got knocked out by Curtis Blades. And I'm not saying anything negative about Curtis Blades and his striking, but we know that Curtis Blades doesn't knock people out with his hands if they're standing up.
Okay.
You just watched him get knocked out by Francis Ngannou, and then that went into Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades knocked him out cold. Do you want to put him against somebody else? Oh, here, let me go out on your own terms. Let me bring a soup can in for you, a guy. We can't get a soup can because you have a long plethora of fights. The only person you can fight is someone in the top 15, and everyone in the top 15 is going to knock him out.
Yeah, I just feel like he should have let him announce. He should have been able to announce it just to cut him. I feel like it's a slap in the face. Just didn't like it.
They probably knew it was going to happen sooner or later. He's up there in age.
Yes, he is. Granted, it wasn't looking good, obviously.
And it's not. And sometimes you have to cut people because they're not going to – you just can't give him the opportunity to be like, oh, I want to fight one more fight. You can't. That's a potentially dangerous fight.
Right, but just say, hey, well, don't announce it to the public. We're cutting you. Let him.
They didn't announce it to the public. The UFC doesn't announce it to the public. It's all these papers that announce it.
Okay, all right. But
they talk to the managers. And that's the thing is they give people as many opportunities. Look, Dana absolutely loves everything.
I like Dana. No, he's actually really nice, but I just was like, man, this happened. And then I'm like, I'm hearing him in Bellator I don't know. It makes me sad, because
the opportunity is greater. Look, Bellator, you get paid money, but the opportunity to build your business and build a platform, if you utilize it correctly, the UFC is one of the best, actually is the best show on there. UFC has monopolized everything when it comes to fighting. They are the who's who of fighting. When someone asks you, they're like, hey, do you do Bellator? No, they say, hey, do you do UFC? They say mixed martial arts is UFC because it's a name.
I get it.
And And Paige Vanzant, she did amazing. She did amazing in her career. She built a career outside of it, I believe, with the help of the UFC. And the thing is that she was getting to the point where she would take fights and just it probably was way more of a complication to book her a fight than it was to do anything. Like if she was a game fighter, she'd be fighting all the time. But she was making more money outside of it using the UFC. The UFC decided to cut terms. She went to Cage or what Bare Knuckle, and Bare Knuckle paid for it. And then, in all honesty, she didn't look bad in her fight.
No, she didn't. It's different. It's so different.
But at the same time, you can tell who wanted that fight way more. That girl was not coming to lose that she fought against.
She was an unattractive girl that was just pissed off that Paige was pretty, because that's one of the first things she said after.
Yeah.
I couldn't win because what the hell does that? I mean, or that's just irritating.
It's not that. No. You should look at it as irritating is the fact that people paid to think that Paige Vanzant, since she's pretty, more beautiful than this girl, that everyone was liking and wanting Paige Vanzant to win because of her looks and didn't give a shit about this girl who her entire career probably wasn't making any. I don't even know who she is, but she probably has been training her ass off, not making any money. And she just beat a girl that was making literally probably 20 times the amount of money she made. She beat her, and she's like, why is she getting paid more money because of her looks? Yet I trained my ass off for this, and I'm getting paid 10 times less than her. So you're literally arguing the fact that the UFC fighters don't make as much as Bellator. But now we get to the point where Paige Vanzant is making more money than this girl that trains her ass off. And actually, this is her lifestyle. She doesn't make money outside of it that we know of. And she's now
the fact that who's prettier, but the what the hell was her damn point? I guess the point, UFC wasn't going to pay her, so she goes over to Bare Knuckle because she's a draw. Bare Knuckle felt she was valuable. She was a draw.
Yeah, she's a draw for sure. She's a draw because people want to see her. The thing is like, okay, to Paige Vanzant to save and revive her, what do? You put her against a girl that's 0-0, 1-1. You put her against a girl that she can beat. She has to. Because the thing is, if she loses again, who's going to watch that?
If you would have saw the last, I don't know how many rounds, but the first half of the fight, the girl who won, and I forgot her name, Britain something. But anyway, she ended up winning, obviously, but she was winning the first 2 rounds. The second 2 rounds, Paige was starting to understand, and she was gaining momentum because it is different. They're 2-minute rounds. It's a different style of fighting, and she was getting it. I feel like she could have won.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And I'm not going to argue on that, but Paige has to win her next fight, or else her contract, what is her contract for?
Doesn't
you're
matter.
Going to keep throwing. She's already getting paid for sure. But like, if I was a company, if I was me and you bringing it over, is it worth $1 million plus incentives? Is it worth that much? You get it out and then basically you walk away. Like, and then they could do it way worse. They can be like, okay, you're 0-4. We don't want to pay you that much money. Goodbye. And then what happens? Who's going to look like the fucking victim? You just don't know.
I don't know how we got on that tangent. I think overall, I just see just from friends and just, watching, some of these amateurs, how much time they dedicate. And I just, I like, and all of the entertainment that you guys give us, I would like to see you paid a little.
Yeah, absolutely. I would too, man. I would love to get paid way more money. But this is the thing too, man, is you have to understand it's not how much you get paid, it's how you use it. And most of these guys are assholes and they get paid good money and they blow it all. I could tell you there's a lot of fighters that I know that are blowing through their money like it's nothing. You're not reinvesting. They don't know how to manage it. And that's it. Where these smarter fighters are investing in the correct deal. Look, you have to understand $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. It's not a lot of money, but if you fought that, if it took you 3 months to make that money, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. But then I think taxes, your nutrition,
you're right. You have a lot of write-offs. But that's one fight. You have 4 fights at $50,000. That's even starter. If you have 4 fights at the starter pay, that means you're making close to $100,000. That's enough wage where you can split the money, tax write-offs, everything to where you can do that. That's if you win all of them. But if you go in there with your first 2 fights and you lose your first 2 fights, are you a UFC caliber fighter? Like, is that like, like, do they need more people just to go in and just get, I don't want to say get beat up on.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's a
Getting
lot of
that
work that
career
goes
way
into
to
it.
the top and the big
You
money.
do.
I mean, I get.
Everybody made less money. Imagine Dustin Poirier
I was just
back in
thinking that.
2010.
Mhm.
2010, how much money he was making. Imagine Conor McGregor before he got in the UFC. And look who built him up to be where he is now. The UFC helped do that.
He helped the UFC. Let me tell you.
No,
Yeah.
not really.
No,
Not really. No.
you don't think that people were when you think. I mean, I think he did. Everybody knows Conor McGregor.
Everybody does know Conor
One
McGregor.
of the best social media. I mean, you either loved him or you hated him, but you knew who he was. So
Absolutely. Do you think that if Conor McGregor never came, they wouldn't be where they're at right now?
no, I just don't. I don't know. His draw when I went to that fight, his fight in Vegas, when he fought against Cowboy, was nothing like I'd ever seen.
You're right.
It's incredible.
You're right. But also, Habib Nurmagomedov does that all the time now. And he wasn't a thing. He wasn't a thing. Do you know he has an entire country that was behind him? You has an entire country. They built a stadium in a country to bring these big leagues in. You have to understand, like, they built an island.
Incredible.
They built an island because of him. So if you want to say, like, if they didn't have Conor, they would have Khabib. And if they don't have Khabib, they have Islam Makhachev, who's on his way up there.
Yeah.
If they don't have that, they still had John Jones. They still had Daniel Cormier. They still have Henry Cejudo. They have, Aljamain Sterling. They have Kamaru Usman. Like, these are people, they're not draws, but they're growing and they can make them big.
Like John Jones, I don't know.
Thing is, they can make you a star. You got to understand, like, they have all the power to make you. They have all the power to make you everything, and they can build you up if you follow.
But
if you follow their path,
you have to be able to talk. You have to have a personality.
No, Khabib doesn't have a personality.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Kamaru Usman doesn't really have a personality. He does. He's a cool dude, but like, he doesn't have a personality for TV. James Krause doesn't talk. Grant Dawson doesn't talk. Grant Dawson's been mauling people. He has another fight coming up. He's 3-0, 4-0 in the UFC right now. Most people aren't talking about him yet. And he just moved up a weight class, and he's about to fight again against an undefeated prospect as well. There's a lot of people that don't talk, but yet we don't turn to them because it's hard to market them. But when they start winning, it's inevitable. And then you have to market them.
True.
Habib did not talk for the longest time. We didn't really know anything about Habib until it started coming out with the whole Michael Johnson and then Tony Ferguson. Those 2 fights, the Tony Ferguson fallout, the Michael Johnson mauling, that's whenever we started getting more and more Habib. And he's had multiple fights since then.
Yeah.
And that's it. They will market you when the time is right for you.
All right. So now I feel like everything I'm saying, they need to do this, they need to do that. So no, I just got educated today, but I still feel some of my points I think were pretty valid.
I believe, and I'm with you. I'm with you at the same time. Like, everybody should get paid more. We always want more money and everything like that, but you have to understand, when you understand the business side of it. Yeah. Yes, they make a lot of money, but that money they make goes into a lot of building the promotion themselves. They don't have all the tools and everything that the UFC or these places have, whatever the hell they are, like ESPN. Yeah, and also too, they are buying out for all these fights. They have an entire hotel, 2 hotels rented out, completely maxed out, to where fighters go in there and they go into quarantine to make it safe for the COVID restriction. How much do you think it costs to rent out an entire hotel?
It does, but now I am going to look and see how much the UFC made the organization. I'm going to do some homework tonight, and we're going to follow up with this.
Let's follow up with it.
Yeah, we will. Right now, I got to get 2 Munchkins showers going. Like, they can't do that shit.
Let's go.
Whatever. But all right. So this is a little heated, and Julian had really a lot of good points, and you know, I'm still in school for some things, so that's okay though. But we had fun. Hope you guys did too. Like and subscribe, and yeah, have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, we are.